Hello and welcome back to the Spider-Man limited set review. In this video, I'll be discussing the blue cards and how good I think they're going to be in limited. I have not been to one of my set reviews before. I use a 5-tier system to evaluate cards. Tier 1 is the best, Tier 5 is the worst. The tiers are loosely based around where I would expect to pick cards in draft. They're not necessarily about absolute strength necessarily. It's kind of more of a it's a vibe based system. There's vibes involved, and yeah, if you like that sort of thing, feel free to subscribe and stick around. But we're gonna get started with amazing acrobatics. One blue blue for instant. Choose one or both. Counter target spell. Tap one or two target creatures. We've had this type of thing before. Now that one you could only choose to counter something and not to tap stuff. I don't know. The cancel variant is usually better than this. Like this is kind of the worst of it. Um we had the yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tier 5 is aggressive, but I do think this is going to be quite bad. Tapping, like if your opponent is good at the game, they will move to combat before casting spells the vast majority of the time. So this is like you're never really getting both on this, and so I think it's just going to be quite bad. I don't really see a scenario where this is great. And due to the smaller set size, this is kind of it counterspell wise. So it's kind of, yeah. Beetle Legacy Criminal. 3 and a blue for a 3/3 with flying. And you can pay 1 and a blue to exile it from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It gains flying until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, I mean this to me seems fine. It's a it's a it's a flyer that gives you a little bit of extra value from the graveyard. It's more notably is a flyer that you can actually block with and not feel terrible about on turn 4, which is not always the case with these. But yeah, I like the graveyard upside. It's also a villain. Villain type is a thing that matters a lot. I don't think this is amazing, but I don't think it's like horrible either. Chameleon Master of Disguise, 3 and a blue for 2/3. You may have it enter as a copy of a creature you control, except its name is Chameleon Master of Disguise, and it has Mayhem for 2 and a blue. It's these effects that force you to copy something you have are usually pretty bad, and actually I think I've gone even maybe too high on this again. It has the villain type that matters. Um, it has mayhem that matters because mayhem is card advantage when you are getting something else or some sort of advantage. It's a mechanic that gives you advantages, so I do think it's not to be completely overlooked, and this can come in for 3. So I don't think it's terrible, but I do think it's likely to be pretty overrated. I think this is going to be one of those cards. I mean, again, people overrate clones in general. It's historically just an effect that people like too much because it used to be really good, and now and there are debates about whether it even used to be really good, but the conventional wisdom was that it was good, and now that is just no longer true. The Clone Saga. 3 and a blue for a saga. Chapter 1, Surveil 3. Chapter 2, when you're next cast a creature spell this turn, copy it, except the copy isn't legendary. Chapter 3, choose a card name. Whenever a creature with that name deals combat damage to a player this turn, draw a card. Yeah, I mean this is not very good. So you're paying 4 mana to do nothing, and then you're hoping to get a clone next turn. You will be able to get the clone pretty frequently, but again, your 4-drop essentially, right? Like you have to copy something that's at least a 4-drop, if not bigger, in order for this to be really worth it. Yes, you can get in for damage sometimes and draw cards. That's a little pipe dreamy. You're going to be pretty behind. You spent 4 mana doing nothing. Blue's creatures aren't that strong. You only get to, again, this is a guild set, so you're only going to get to play really with black cards or red cards. I think it's black and red. I think it's Grixis. I'd have to go check which one it is again because no, white cards, black and white. There's blue white. So like I don't know. Yeah, so it's the set is kind of weirdly structured in general. There's just a lot of like strange stuff that we haven't really seen in like a long time because of how small it is. Um, but this card I don't like very much. Doc Ock, Sinister Scientist. 4 and a blue for a 4/5. As long as there are 8 or more cards in your graveyard, it has base power and toughness 8/8. As long as you control another villain, it has hexproof. So the first ability is not super feasible. Uh, in this set, there's not that much self mill going on. There's some amount of it, but not enough that this is going to be reliably on by turn 5, let alone like turn 6 or 7. The second ability is going to be on a lot, though. And if you are really enabling this thing, I think you could play this. It is not a card that I want to prioritize highly because it costs 5 mana, but I don't think it's completely unplayable. It does have no like ability though, really. Dogox Henchman, 2 and a blue for 2/1 with flash, and when it attacks, it connives. It just never has good attacks, is the problem. It is a villain. Matters. It this just is not good. There's just not really anything appealing about this card. Connive is a great mechanic. Theoretically, you could ambush your opponent, but if they play a 3-drop, like the theory of, oh, my opponent didn't play a creature, then I get to attack them because they attacked me. Like that just doesn't really happen that much. So I don't think this is very good. Flying Octobot. 1 and a blue for a 1/1 with flying. Whenever another villain you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. This ability triggers only once each turn. This looks pretty good to me. As you can see so far, tons of villains. Now a lot of them aren't very good, but you got to play cards in your deck. um, and this looks like a great 2-drop. There are a lot of villains, so I think this is going to be pretty big. Wears equipment well for the blue-white stuff, like wears tokens well. I think you'll actually play this in either of the blue decks, and I'd be pretty happy with it. Hide on the Ceiling. X and a blue for an instant. Exile X target artifacts and/or creatures. Return the exiled cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So this is the mass like flickered effect. It's not very good in limited. You just can't really get this to work. There aren't even really enough ETBs for it to work in general in the set. Yeah, just too situational. Hydroman, Fluid Felon. Blue for a 2/2. When you cast a blue spell, if it is a creature, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, untap it. Until your next turn, it becomes a land and gains tap to add blue. I kind of like this. So obviously the casting cost is not amazing. You have to be pretty heavy blue. But you're essentially getting an instant speed land that can also attack. Like this is kind of a weird creature. It's very strange, but I like it. Like I like what it's doing. It's not going to be oppressive or anything. It's not going to be like busted, but it just seems like a solid card that is hard to like interact with. It kind of is like a man land. It's kind of like a Mutavault, but it's a creature. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay for it. So, kind of cool. Yeah. Imposter Syndrome. 4 blue enchantment. Whenever a non-token creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it because it isn't legendary. This is just horrible. It's a card that only does anything if you already have good attacks, so that's terrible. It's 6 mana. Yeah, and there's been a lot of rares like this in this set that I'm just like, I don't want this at all, really. Yep. Lady Octopus, Inspired Inventor. Single blue for an 0/2. When you draw your first or second card each turn, put an integrity counter on or ingenuity counter on it. You can tap it and cast an artifact spell from your hand with mana value less than the number of ingenuity counters on it without paying its mana cost. Um, yeah, I just don't really like. You just can't have enough artifacts in your deck to make this work. Even if you like could, yes, it triggers every turn, so it gets bigger. It's like a weird Ether Vial. Ether Vial is terrible in limited. You could just like cast the spell. It is a villain, so there's that, but I don't think it's really doing anything. Another terrible rare in blue. Madame Web, Clairvoyant. 4 blue blue for a 4/4. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spider spells and non-creature spells from the top of your library. Whenever you attack, you may mill a card. This is just not that great. So the rate is terrible. You're getting a 6 mana 4/4. It's just not good. You're not going to be able to cast anything the turn you play it. You can't play lands, so if you ever hit a land, you're sad. Like, you have to attack to clear the top. There are other ways, right? You can draw cards, connive, other stuff. But this just seems like it's not doing enough for me. I'm pretty down on this card. Mysterio, Master of Illusion. 3 and a blue for a 3/3. When it enters, create a 3/3 blue illusion creature token for each non-token villain you control. Exile those when Mysterio leaves the battlefield. I mean, this is similar to Precursor Golem, which is the thing that makes 3/3/3s for 5. And that card was great in Brothers War. It's historically been a good card. This card is worse than that card because you can just always remove it. With Precursor Golem, if you lost the original Golem, they couldn't like blow you out anymore. So this, doesn't have that upside, but you're still getting 2 3/3s and maybe 3 3/3s for 4 mana. That's really good. That's like a lot of 3/3. I mean, I should probably just put it in tier 1. It is, again, the thing about it is with Precursor Golem, it didn't always just die to removal. This always just dies to removal. But you're going to have a lot of villains in blue. I should probably just put this in tier 1, because the removal, although there is removal for it, just think about it as like a must-remove threat. Yeah, I'm going to move it up. The power level is also feeling a bit low, so I think this, is just getting there. Mysterio's Phantasm. 1 and a blue for a 1/3 with flying and vigilance. When this creature attacks, mill a card. I like this. It's also a villain. It's a 2-drop. This looks like a good blue 2-drop. Yeah, you're getting stuff in your graveyard. You have vigilance. You have flying. It just kind of does it all. I like this a lot. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of this card. How high do you want to draft it? I don't know if you really want to draft it that high, because I don't know if you really want to be getting into blue, but this seems like it really does everything blue wants. Other than be tapped for web slinging stuff, but I don't think blue really cares so much about that. Norman Osborn. 1 and a blue for a 1/1. It can't be blocked. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, it connives. And you can pay 1 on each of the Grixis colors to transform it into a 3/3 with flying and menace. Spells you cast from your graveyard cost 2 less to cast. Each non-land card in your graveyard has mayhem. The mayhem cost is equal to its mana cost. So, great. You can flip it, and it's also just good. I mean, the front half of this is obviously just great. We've had like slightly worse versions of that card to be very good, and this will be better than those slightly worse versions. And then also, you can flip it, and when you flip it, it's also great. So, yeah, I don't really have any notes on this one. You don't even you should play that in your deck whether you have the mana to flip it or not. Oscorp Research Team. 3 and a blue, 1/5. It has the ability 6 and a blue to draw 2 cards. This is terrible. Yep. Robotics Mastery, on the other hand. 4 and blue for an aura with flash. When this aura enters, create 2 1/1 colorless robot artifact creature tokens with flying, and enchanted creature gets +2/+2. I mean, this seems kind of insane. So it's +2/+2, and you make 2 things, and it has flash. It just kind of seems really insane to me. Yeah, that just is everything. It's just everything. Just does it all. I wanted to even put it in tier 1, but it doesn't need a creature to exist on the battlefield, and so for that reason, it's not going to get there. But yeah, I like it a lot. School Day is another card that I like a lot. 3 blue blue for an instant. Choose 1, draw 3 cards, or counter target spell and draw a card. I mean, this is the nuts, man. This is just the nuts. So you can use it as a draw spell. This is just like almost Cryptic Command. Is that the card that I'm thinking of? No, it's Mystic Confluence. This is like almost Mystic Confluence, and it's also almost Cryptic Command. It's like kind of in between those two things. Because Mystic Confluence, counter target spell, draw two is a thing, is a mode on that card. You could also just draw three with Mystic Confluence. Those are kind of the things you're doing with it. But this is just going to be great. I don't, there's like, because you can just hold it up on five, and then if they do nothing, you just draw three cards and you're happy. And if they do something, you're like, yep, counter, draw a card, be thrilled, and move on. So this card's just the nuts. Secret Identity. Single blue for an instant. Choose one. Until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a citizen with base power and toughness 1/1 and has hexproof. And then, or you can choose until end of turn, target creature you control becomes a hero with base power and toughness 3/4 and gains flying and vigilance. I really like this. There's a lot of things in this set that care about your stuff being tapped or untapped or whatever. And this sort of allows you to kind of do that. It plays around removal. It's 1 mana. It's also a trick that can make your thing eat something. It makes it into a 3/4 for one, which eats something a lot. Yeah, I just kind of like it. I just think this is a solid all around card that I think one copy of is going to be pretty good. Spiderbite Web Warden. 2 and a blue for a 2/2. When it enters, return up to one target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Mana War is officially back, although this is an upgraded Mana War. And yeah, it's great. I mean, there's no I don't really have any notes. Like, it's just really really good. Just hits any non-land permanent. Helps you tap stuff down. Can be recurred to bounce more stuff. Doing cool stuff. Spiderman No More. 1 out of blue for an aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature is a citizen and has base power and toughness 1/1. It has defender and loses all other abilities. So this is like your prototypical bad blue removal. It does take away abilities, which is nice, but giving your opponent's creature any amount of power is pretty bad. It is 2 mana. There's an uncommon that tutors for auras, so you will play this card, and there will actually be people who do want it in their deck because you can tutor for it. But I think outside of that space, it's really not going to be very good, and you should try to avoid it. Especially because if your opponent finds a way to tap their creature and then web sling it, you just get like destroyed. So yeah, there's that too. Spider Sense. 1 and a blue for an instant with web slinging, so it's a spell with web slinging. I think this is the only one. Maybe there's another one, but this is, I think, the only one. Counter target instant spell, sorcery spell, or triggered ability. So this is 2 situational. Most of the spells your opponents are going to be casting are creatures. You can target abilities. You can bounce something. I don't think that those things are worth the whole card. So, yeah, not really worth it in limited. Unstable Experiment. 1 and a blue for an instant. Target player draws a card, then up to one target creature you control connives. Yeah, I mean, this is great, right? So you do need to have a creature in play, and so you can't really cast this on turn 2 and all that. Like, that's weighing into my evaluation of this card as not being super, super high value, but the fact that you're getting 1 card plus 1 connive is worth 2 mana. And it is kind of a trick, sort of, a little bit, sometimes, and it does some interesting stuff. I like it. And the last blue card, Whoosh. 1 and a blue for an instant with kicker. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If the spell was kicked, draw a card. This is a functional reprint of the other card that from Dominaria that I don't remember the name of, but it's Into the Royal. I'm not even sure it's from Dominaria, but it's Into the Royal is what I'm thinking of. This is that basically. I think it's better if anything. That card was great. In its format, it's going to be really really good here. And yeah, I mean, I have no notes on it. This is probably going to be the best blue common. I would be kind of surprised if it wasn't. Yeah, it's going to be very strong. So that's it for blue. Again, short and sweet. These are going to be short videos. They're going to be about 20 minutes because there are not that many cards in each of the colors. It's going to be I don't know how this set's going to play, man. Really, like I'm really curious to see with the small number of card pool how that goes. But if you're interested in some more set review content, there will be more of it on the channel. I'll see you next time.